Hello and welcome back. Today we are continuing our Austria into Rome run. Last episode we got German leadership, which is very significant, and we will be looking forward to forming Mega Germany with all of Prussia here. Probably not this episode, but this is what we have down the pipeline. We do have some problems going on currently, but we have been using that Hapsburgian diplomacy to really expand the market and make it really huge. This is a fundamental feature of how we have been playing this run. You can see we have China in there, we have the EIC, we have Egypt, we have Peru, Bolivia, we have the Confederacy, and we also have Spain in here. Very important for what we're kind of focused on is, or just kind of coming in here to talk about what we're about to do, is we are going to continue reducing autonomy of the CSA as quickly as possible because they have a ton of migration pull, and they are siphoning off pops, quite a few pops that are going to be, Han and this sort of stuff. You could see all these different ones. They have like Mongols in here, and I wouldn't be surprised if they have a Han population. We are going to try and avoid, them getting a ton of migrants from both the EIC and Great Qing by annexing them as quickly as possible because they have a bunch of unused arable land, so they have a ton of migration attraction. As they get more and more pop, they get more and more inexpensive for us to annex, and so this is why we are going to reduce autonomy on cooldown on these guys. Now they might back down, or they might decide to fight us. They decide to fight us. Okay, so we might ban slavery while we're at it. Something like this. We can sway people. We can sway Great Qing. I think I'm not sure what they want, but notably Great Britain and USA can join against us. Not too big a deal either way, but we are just going to be looking to reduce their autonomy and also stay under 25 infamy. This is essential, for our market play. Currently, we have not been going over 25 infamy. If we do that, people might start leaving our market, so we are going to avoid doing that. We are also going to make a little bit of a play at going for universal suffrage. There's 12 million pops who support this. This will really help us on the loyalist radicals front, but it is a little bit scary. I'm not exactly sure if we can go for it. So the thing is this will undoubtedly force a rev of the aristocracy. And so the question is can we enact it faster than we can rev? And I don't know the answer to this. It is 60% progress, but what we will do is we will put it in and then we will reduce taxes, which is also very spooky, which will put us at 50%, so we can pass a little bit faster. They will rev, and so it'll just be a question of, can we pass this faster than we can rev? It's very tempting to also float a bunch of authority, but we're not going to do that because if we float authority, then we will have even less money. Instead, floating authority, by the way, so that we can get minus enactment time, it's really not a lot unless you're already at 90 plus legitimacy, but we will also put that in and do this, and so we will have a little bit more money. Maybe it's not worth it. Let's just take it out. And at the same time, this war is about to pop off. They didn't back down, so we're gonna go clap the CSA and ban slavery there, which of course is why they rebelled in the first place, and why they sought our help, and so much for that help, I guess. And so we will have ourselves a reduction of the autonomy and banning slavery in the CSA. Notably, we were able to slot in our new unique company, but we didn't want to do it because we actually enjoyed this 5% army offense on the landing there. So coming off of that, we will be slotting in our unique company, which is going to be... Wait, what? Why is MAV not available? Let's scroll down and find out, because I was under the impression that we just needed to have a motor industry above level 11 to slot in MAV, which is a unique company or MAVAG. It needs to be Central Hungary. Derp derp. Okay, so we have motor industry not in Central Hungary. We will just put this on auto expand, but we will instead slot in a different company here. That is one that is obviously available, and I think we're going to go for Bohemia Steel, which is a fine company as well, for that 10% state construction efficiency. So taking a look at it here, we have wood, iron, and now steel, and this 10% state construction efficiency is going to be really nice. It's really not very nice. The enormous level of turmoil we are starting to get as a result of radical pops. This is really preventing us. Like, if we take a look here, that's not a good, beautiful thing. And so this is a significant impediment to our ability to expand because, as you can see, it is giving us minus on state construction efficiency. Now it's minus 13%, but this is pretty substantive, and so this will help out a lot, like the loud radio outside. This will help out a lot for passing some stuff. Sorry about that. Well, we get to the very end towards universal suffrage when this rev finally pops, and the rev isn't even, you know, a full big one, and so we will be rapidly passing stuff. After getting universal suffrage, we'll be rapidly passing stuff through the landowners that they are going to hate, but, you know, tough. This is going to be particularly bad for them, so just wanted to kind of point this one out. So, suffering from success a little bit here, Peru-Bolivia is going to be a really expensive annex, costing 34 infamy, precisely because our customs union is so good. If we take a look at cultures, you'll notice Han and Korean, and so this is not ideal for us. Also, in the capital, or in kind of the main territories here, ooh, Godspeed, Garibaldi, smell you later. That's unfortunate, because he was helping us out with this, but in regards to, you know, logging, we have fully expanded out all of the logging in the main, like, area of, you know, Austria-Hungary. This is completely maxed out. You know, some of it's still in the queue, but what we're going to do as we finish this in, you know, 2 weeks here, we're going to swap in new companies. Now, let's kind of find ourselves a new law. Let's get rid of some discrimination here. Now, this is going to radicalize 2 guys, and so this might cause a rev, so maybe we want to go after police force, which is going to hurt the aristocracy some more, and is going to negatively affect their clout. Oh, man. I didn't realize universal suffrage would absolutely crush our legitimacy like this. This is really not that ideal. And we can't slot these guys in because these guys are insurrectionary. Man, why is our clout so bad? Are we in the middle of passing an election? No, we're not in the middle of an election. So maybe we actually can't do this right now. It's unfortunate we clicked it. Actually, let's wait a tick and see exactly what happens if, you know, it updates our legitimacy. But this tick will also kind of come with... Well, there's a movement to enact homesteading, so we could actually potentially get this through. Let's actually stop this. Okay, here, I have a plan. So we're going to stop this. These guys will stop being insurrectionary. Then we will reform the government to put them back in. I'm guessing they got a lot of the votes. And then, because our voting system changed, but the votes haven't been tabulated from a new election. So we can't do this until we have a new election. Stop being insurrectionary. Why can't we slot you in? One or more interest group. Okay, wait. Stop suppressing. There we go. Perfect. And so now we will have a much more legitimate government. We would like to have one that could pass homesteading, though. Is there no one who can pass... Oh, we have a movement to enact homesteading. Perfect. So we will slot in like this, which is going to be very legitimate. Godspeed to, you know, universal suffrage, giving some legitimacy. And then, oh, our market liberal agitator is dead? Bro. We had a market liberal agitator. We can... I mean, we have several guys who are agitating for homesteading. We can maybe pull one of these guys in and do something like that. That's unfortunate. Extra unfortunate is the fact that we actually could pass police force because they're only -3, not like -5. But we did have a market liberal agitator. We'll have a little bit of a think and then come back with exactly what we're going to do. We had a market liberal agitator who we thought we could promote to government when we did that. Okay, so if my recollection is correct, which it often isn't, I believe that if these guys leave the government because they get pissed, we still have the votes of the Christian Social Party in here in government. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass the one thing that they, that's not going to force a rev. So, for example, if we passed, you know, if we tried to pass cultural exclusion, this will rev multiple parties, not just the aristocracy, but... we're going to go after homesteading, which will rev just the aristocracy. And so, hopefully, this helps out. It will also empower the petite bourgeoisie, which is not necessarily a good or bad thing. You know, these guys are market liberals. It will make the Intelligentsia happy, so this is fantastic. Plus 50% migration attraction, so we should start siphoning off a lot of pops off the back of this. But also, very importantly, you know, as we get into homesteading, this will further depress the clout, you know, of the aristocracy. So hopefully they won't be able to really oppose us passing all the other things we want to pass, namely, not freedom of self-conscious, namely getting on to racial segregation or cultural exclusion. I think we're going to go for racial segregation. If my recollection serves, this is functionally going to be the same for us as cultural exclusion, except we get a little bit more authority. We have slotted in generic sulfur and coal instead of the wood. Now that we've fully expanded the wood, we're not really benefiting from the construction speed anymore. We have a bunch of wood export routes, and so we just won't produce wood for a while, and instead now we will have a renewed focus on coal, kind of look where the earnings are high, increase a few levels there, and this will be really nice making use of this construction. And we will also, obviously, we will be focused on steel as well, but really looking to supply, kind of this underlying mineral base for the rest of our market, which obviously is quite large. And by doing this, we will get to have some of the more profitable industries, and we will also be specialized in them. We will build them faster, they will give us more throughput, and this will be pretty nice, as we are kind of finishing up what we need to go for after the tooling company. We might go for the tooling company afterwards, instead of this Bohemian Minerals, or we might even try and acquire a new company, which we're not that far off of in investment banks, although almost certainly want to go steel frame first, although this is a problem that needs to be resolved before we can go steel frame. Okay, they took their legitimacy with them. This is a bit unfortunate. I wasn't exactly sure how it worked, and yeah, they take it with them. Tragic. So what we will do is we will slot in the Industrialists instead. We can, of course, still keep... well, I guess this is more legitimate. Okay. We can, of course, still keep passing laws, however, despite this, because we are passing off the back of a movement. So we will still gain progression, but we really don't want to be in this, legitimacy tier here. And so what we will do is we will decrease taxes a little bit more. We are planning on re-increasing taxes to kind of resolve this. And I think we'll probably just be waiting out until the end of the election where, the Constitutional Party actually has an enormous, projected vote. And so this will hopefully solve, our woes forever more. But right now, the 50% migration attraction, super big nice. If we take a look at our migration attraction, look at this. We just have a lot, all over the place. We are getting some migration, not anything huge, because, 28's not exactly the highest. Well, that's huge. 20, the 20s is not the highest figure, but, if we compare it to, let's say, Qing, who's in our market, and India, who's in our market, yeah, it's not very good. So we should be able to get this, and hopefully divert some of the would-be, resettlement that would be going to Peru, Bolivia. We're probably going to look to do something with them once we get to zero infamy. And so, yeah, which means we'll be over 25 for a little bit, but we do want to annex them. And we have been also trying to keep an eye on pulling people in the market. We are slowly but surely, with our bankrolls and this sort of stuff, pulling, guys onto our side. We really wish there was another person we could rival. We would rival anyone other than Prussia. And so it's perhaps the case that we want to declare a little bit of a tiny war where Russia's involved somewhere. That way we will get the minus negative relations, something like this, against them so that we can declare them a rival because we cannot while they are cordial. So our election is about to come through, and it should save us here. The Constitutional Party gets a lion's share of the votes, and so now we should be able to, have this nice-looking government here with 62 legitimacy. We will increase taxes 2 notches because of this. That way we will stay over the 50 threshold, and we will get a pretty short, or we will get a homesteading in pretty short order. And also, we've solved our money woes, at least temporarily. It should come back a little bit as GDP adjusts, because GDP will go down as the result of us decreasing taxes. We're pretty set on the institutions for now. We might even want to try and do a canal look-see at something, or we might want to, go on to some level of welfare, finishing this law pass. But I think that we're probably going to want to go after, getting rid of the Hapsburgs, or, getting onto racial segregation, something like this. So we decided to pull back almost all of our, diplo actions in order that we can damage relations with Russia, so we can get to the point where we're neutral, we'll stop damaging relations, and we'll declare a rivalry, giving us an access to another 400 diplo. Off the back of this, we are going to improve relations and bankroll Prussia, and despite the fact that they're damaging relations here, we are still going to be able to gradually improve relations, because the 3 and the 3 will cancel out, and then this will, give us some steady progress. This will also allow us to bankroll more German miners now that we have this rivalry with Russia. They'll almost certainly rival us back, but it's not the biggest deal, and, we can look to dice up Russia at some point moving forward. We don't have a lot of infamy, so we're not going to do it now, because we don't want to get to the point where we're not decaying any infamy, and we will look to probably annex Peru, Bolivia, as soon as we get to 0 infamy, despite the fact that it's going to give us a little bit of a problem incorporating people into the customs union for a short period of time. They have a really good company too, and so this is one of the reasons we want to do it. So if we had more time, we would go parliamentary republic here, but we're not going to get this in time anyways, so we're going to get this -10 approval no matter what, and so because of that, I think it would be a little bit better to go for racial segregation and to get rid of all this radicalism and turmoil we have. The only people who are going to rev off the back of this are the aristocracy, but they are too weak to do anything, and so we will go for this, and we will get a little bit of a thing. We'll upset some people a little bit. The Catholic Church is a little bit upset. They maybe join a movement. We could put them in government and then take them out, or these guys would come out and then the Catholic Church can't rev, but even the Catholic Church and the aristocracy combined, I think we can handle. And if they do rev, it will be almost entirely the western portion where most of our radicals are, or also it's Italy, and this is not where most of our troops are, and so I think we can fight this rev if we need to. We would prefer not to, but I think we're ready for it. We get an annex off on Peru, Bolivia. Unfortunately, we're all red above. We're kind of trying to solve that, but we are at 1K construction, so that's nice. And Peru, Bolivia now will have a ton of migration attraction. And now it's a little bit disaffected by turmoil, but it will be benefiting from our propagandists as well as our GP status. So we will be able to pull a lot of migrants to here, and you can see our pops will pop off, kind of coming off of this. We notably have been popping off since basically the beginning of the game. I think here's where we got Qing into the market. You could see the slant coming up, and then here is when we got our Intelligentsia happy, where it comes up even more because we're getting that 50% for propagandists because they are powerful. We're going to try and maintain that throughout the game, and we are going to, swap up the PMs. The most important place to integrate is going to be Antofagasta because it gives access to a very strong company, and to that end, we are also going to need a level 11 sulfur mine there. So we will put that all in, despite the fact that it's, well, actually, we're probably going to... They're going to have a lot of turmoil. We're not going to put it in yet because the construction speed will be real slow there. So through good relations with the UK, which we've maintained for some time now, we have managed to get quite a few sways that are quite useful. They have revs with all the Australian states, they have revs with the Canadian states, and they're generally willing to give you something in exchange for help, at least in 1.5.5. Probably this isn't going to be the case in 1.5, the 1.5.6, the full release version, but here we have... France has gotten swayed against the UK, so they might be able to be willing to give us something particularly juicy, more juicy than the EIC, no, but, something pretty substantive. It's looking actually not too crazy. New South Wales is probably the best here, and then, so New South Wales is probably the best in terms of transferring subjects. We can also go for transfer states, and it looks like they are willing to give us, a pretty substantive thing. I think we would actually like Cape Colony, because they will continue to unite and fuse Australia and Canada, and Cape Colony is the biggest one that's not like that, but we're just checking through here, looking at, of course, they're willing often, not this time, to give away Irish states. Rift Valley would be fine, this right over here, which would connect and give access, a little bit better. Currently, we don't have access anywhere here, but we have, managed to incorporate it. Eventually, we'll snake up access. But we're going to take a look and see if they are willing to give us Cape Colony, and if they are, this will be good for us. Unfortunately, this would kind of get us in a little bit of trouble in regards to fighting France, which is maybe going to make it not worth it. Where's Cape Colony? They won't sway Cape Colony. Let's go for New South Wales. But we will, as soon as this war pops, we will probably see our way out of it. That way we don't get ticking negative relations with France for very long, because this will also nuke our trade agreement. But this is effectively a refund of some influence. Maybe this is okay. Maybe this is not okay. And we get the path to liberalism completed. I think we'll go for having a radical, and we get freedom of trade and freedom of thought. And hopefully we can get this racial segregation business, done in addition to some other things. We're making good progress. We don't currently have a rev, and so I'm hoping we can do it. But actually, maybe this isn't worth it. France is going to hate us. Maybe France hating us is okay. Maybe we need another rival just for the purpose of, being able to generate a lot more of this stuff, because it is a little bit slow going in terms of, getting more and more supporters. Currently, a couple people left supporting us, but that's just because our infamy went above 25, and they'll come back once it comes back down. Unfortunately, we were not able to help Mexico out in this war because the area in which it was declared in terms of strategic interests was the, Great Plains. It was declared initially on either Colorado or New Mexico, and we didn't have an interest there. So Mexico, by the looks of it, is going to be getting quite a bit of a negative, having to give up Colorado, Texas, New Mexico, and Utah if they can manage to enforce, which currently they're both stuck at 0-0, so we'll see how that shakes out. As far as economics is going, we are starting to push economies of scale in places, starting first with the resources, making sure that anything that's like close to 31 is pushed to 31, and then we're going to come in and do the same on the industries, particularly with an emphasis on tools. So we see here that was already 21 because we had hit it to the previous EOS, so we're going to up this to 31, and we are going to do the same in West Slovakia and Styria as well. Just kind of bring this on up at 31 and this sort of thing, looking to push the economies of scale. Notably, these places have really, really high earnings, although Bavaria, we got to add a little bit there. They have really high earnings for a marginal building because they are benefiting so much from throughput, so we will continue to do that. In particular, tools, and also we are going to also push it with steel because we want to maintain the prosperity bonus, so we'll push steel up a little bit. That's probably a little bit too much. We notably want really high throughput on our steel, generally speaking, because we have the steel companies slotted in, and this is going to be important for maintaining the prosperity bonus on it. We're not having too much productivity bonus, so we'll look to export some of this stuff, as well as maybe look to get pump jacks, and also activate more railroads, this type of thing, because we would like the prosperity bonus on those companies, but right now we are just looking to crank up, in particular, the construction of a lot of these things, and so this is where we're looking. We will not build tall, for example, on something on explosives, and instead look to locally source it, because we can't really push there's not enough demand overall for explosives to really push EOS, and so instead we will make benefit of MAPI by just building kind of low levels in areas that are consuming a lot of explosives, that have a lot of mines. And we pass racial segregation, big nice, which is going to give us the dual monarchy event. Austria gets united with Hungary. Why don't we screen grab this in case we want to use it? But this is going to give us a nice looking Austria-Hungary, nice yellow. You can forget about that blueberry, but this is going to be really nice. It's also going to hopefully decrease the radicalism quite a bit, because all these boils are now accepted, and so this will help out, and we can of course start passing other laws now. The landowners will still be really upset. I guess we don't want to have that rev. But maybe it's kind of okay. I think we do want to get onto dedicated police force in any case, though. The landowners will spark a rev, but it doesn't matter because they don't have enough clout to do anything, and we will continue pushing through various reforms that we have previously been kind of blocked from, and now we get a whole bunch of trade agreements. The reason these are coming in, by the way, it has entirely to do with the fact that we have likely just dropped below 25 infamy, and so now we can kind of focus our efforts here. Saxony we will accept, and Dynam we will not accept. The main reason being here is that we are trying to expand the customs union, right? We can expand into Sardinia, Piedmont. We can pull in Holstein now that we are friendly, or now that we've dipped below a certain infamy level, which of course means we can stop bankrolling them and, you know, continue to focus on these other German miners. Some of them will likely rejoin us. We were at 10 before, yeah, now we're at 11, and so this will help out for, you know, getting the form or the launch unification play. Notably, we need pan-nationalism, but we don't really need to rush it here. We're going to look to get a lot of these guys in diplomatically. Before we do this, it's notably easier to do this as Prussia because you annex a ton of these guys as the North German Fed, but it's all fine to do it as Austria, and by Austria I mean Austria-Hungary. So we just passed the threshold of cordiality with Prussia, which notably makes it impossible for them to rival us, so we don't really need to improve relations anymore. Instead, we're going to swap to only bankrolling, which frees up quite a bit of influence for us to come in and bankroll some other boyos to try and convince them that, hey, you know, hey, we should be supporting Austria-Hungary for the unification. Because of this, after we finish investment banks, in which situation we're going to slot in our unique company, we are going to go for pan-nationalism after this. And so this will be pretty nice. We might be able to do Mega Germany this episode, if not this episode, the next one. So the CSA, number one, they repassed slavery under our noses, but number two, they are also kind of at the point where it's perhaps no longer feasible for us to annex them, because that's a lot of infamy. That's a big amount of infamy. You know, 52 is perhaps insurmountable, so they will just be in our market as our subject, as our puppets, and we'll just kind of leave them like this, I think, because we don't really want to annex them. They have siphoned off too many migrants. You can see, oh wow, that's wild. That they don't have any primary cultures non-Dixie. Have they just grown a ton? What the hell? That is crazy. That is crazy. Girl, you crazy? I have no idea how their pop has grown so much without taking in migrants, unless it's like bugged in some way. They've gone from like 7 million from 49 over the last 15 years to quite a bit more. Yeah, that's so weird. But in any case, the main point is that we're probably not going to annex these guys unless we decide that we want to go over 100 infamy for the rest of the play, at which point we will annex probably these guys first, because that'll be, you know, better. Well, actually, these guys are annexable straight away, so maybe this will be our first high infamy play if we decide to go high infamy later. So we get another company, and we will be slotting in, we could slot in Skoda Works, but it's really not that good. We're going to be slotting in Mavag, or however this is pronounced, which is our unique company, which anything that gives tools and railway building throughput is quite strong. We will be able to get the prosperity bonus from this, which is also going to, you know, help, because the railways throughput is really strong, and this might also make more prosperous the steel. You know, currently we have very productive steel, which implies maybe we should be building a lot more steel. We'll probably expand it a little bit in Bohemia. We already are expanding it in Bohemia, but just push it up a little bit more. You know, that way it'll increase the demand for the iron and this sort of thing in order to make everything more profitable. Also, we have this interesting play where we initially sided with the UK, and then we decided to go flipsies because Tunis offered us become subject. We ended up getting the obligation from the UK anyways, but we're going to lose our trade agreement, and so this might be the end of the free goodies from the UK, but to be fair, we already got most of the goods, so, well, we really got most of the goods. In terms of goods gotten, we got them, and so them becoming a subject is going to be nice for us. And also I realized that what we're doing in order to form Rome will actually reset our infamy, so we might want to run up the tab following forming Mega Germany. So we're going to form Mega Germany, and then maybe we go on a little bit of a crazy spree before we form Rome. So the UK declares a rivalry on us, and very ironically, we could just use this obligation to nuke their rivalry, and they won't be able... Oh, they can still rival us. Well, that is interesting. Well, we wanted to use the obligation anyways. We maybe shouldn't have used it like that. We maybe should have just made it so that they couldn't join plays against us. I don't think we're going to declare a rivalry against Great Britain here. We could for that tasty Diplo, but instead I think we're going to just chill a little bit and, you know, just use what Diplo we have to slowly continue to get these guys in, along with the loud squad cars outside. We've been doing it for some time, and this is kind of the first time we've used this tactic. We are actually defending against the UK's naval landing on Tunis just by parking a fleet outside. Notably, they can come in and invade from like multiple sea nodes, but this is the one I think they're going to always use, and so it should be impossible for them to make progress unless they use a particularly large navy, which is good because we can't at this juncture park an army in Tunis to just defend against landings. And so we have, you know, a couple of guys defending against pushes in the UK over there. We have a couple guys defending against landings, and we're just going to mainly chill with our new subject of Tunis, who is we are of course the overlord of. Here, let's take a look here. We are, in fact, they are a protectorate of ours. Big nice for us. Big nice. So we end up enforcing on the UK here. We'll probably just reduce autonomy in Tunis. That way it's the correct color. We'll actually just double check that we're not at 23 plus infamy. We're not. And this is an interesting case that we were able to defend from any landing just by sticking our troops here. Also, the UK didn't defend against the landing and Spain landed them, so that made that quite a bit easier. We also have Portugal. We're siding with them, and they are, becoming our protectorate in return because, of course, they could not handle Kutai without us. And we're also siding here in exchange for a subject. In order to resist the Jambi revolt, they will instead be giving us Pontiac, which, of course, is a sensible thing. So, I think we're going to conclude this episode here. This episode, we got rid of racism, except JK not really, because we still have, of course, racial segregation, but we discriminate a whole lot less against European pops specifically, and in doing so, we formed Austria-Hungary. So this has been big nice. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube algo thing. Next episode, we will be forming Mega Germany, almost certainly, now that we have Prussia kind of under control with the genial and, cordial, and also, we have an obligation with them. So we are going to probably be able to pull them into the customs union, and once we do that, we should be able to do, this. We just need to get a bit more support from a bit more people, but this shouldn't be too big a problem, especially once Prussia's in the customs union. It'll free up a whole bunch of our Diplo, and we can make this move.